I'm in grieving and in mourning. There's so much noise around everything. There's so much that's going on that it's hard for me to take the time and to find the time and the peace to mourn and to grieve. My thoughts are also with her family. It's not just my loss, it's their loss as well. With my family, it has been very, very, difficult for us as well, because at the end of the day, we were going to become one family. And I just feel like all that potential and my whole life has kind of been pulled out from underneath me. So I never wanted to lay things bare. I never wanted to really be in this position and have to explain. I just wanted to mourn and grieve. But I think the events of the last week or the last 2 or the month or whatever you want to call it has really put me in a position whereby I now need to tell the truth. And I need to speak, and my voice needs to be heard, because people want to know from me, what my explanations or my answers to their questions are. And going into this interview, it's very, very important for me, for people to understand Anele was and is my absolute world. And for me, it's about preserving her memory, her legacy, and for her to be remembered in the right way. And I will do anything to protect that, and that she's remembered in the right way, which is creative, fun, talented, the most beautiful girl I ever laid my eyes on. So it's hard for me to sit here and talk to you tonight. And I just want people to know that and myself, my family, and also my thoughts go out to the Dengwe family. We are grieving, we are hurt, we are in a place, I'm in a place that I've never been in before. It just feels so desperate. Yeah.
And let's talk about that day. It was the 11th of April in Cape Town when a lot of us started to see the news on social media. People started tweeting saying something has happened outside a hotel, and then came the tweets that said AKA's fiance is thought to have jumped from a hotel.
Yeah.
Where were you as all of that was happening on that day?
Well, I think it's important to tell the story of the whole day. I had gone to Cape Town with her. We had work. She had accompanied me to many of my work engagements. So it was a great day. We went down to Cape Town. Now that I think about it, we had the best time. Myself and Anele always had the best time. She was full of life, laughter. We went to the V&A in the day. We had lunch with our friends. We went shopping. We went back to the hotel. She got dressed. She looked beautiful as always. And then we went to work.
This is on the Saturday, I believe.
This is on the Saturday night. Friday, if I recall correctly. And we went to work. We came back around about 11:30. So obviously it's curfew. We came back with some friends, and then the friends left. And then prior to that, week of us going down to Cape Town, myself and Anele had been having a particularly difficult week in our relationship. Lots of disagreements, arguments, and so forth. But we felt we had been kind of given some sort of reprieve. It was a good day, so we took it upon ourselves to say, all right, well, now we're together. There's nobody around. Change of scenery. Let's begin, talking about our relationship, because we had, just become husband and wife. I had just paid lower, I think 2 weeks previously. So we were looking at our lives through that lens. How can we fix our problems? How can we go forward, and how can we build on the issues, build past the issues that we have in our relationship?
What were the issues?
Before I get to that. So we sat down, we spoke, and naturally we started disagreeing again. Arguments, and things, got more heated, to the point of it was, the early hours of the morning. So at one point, when things really kind of started to take a turn for things, I decided it would be best that I remove myself from the situation. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to, gather my belongings. I'm going to leave the room, book myself into another room, and hopefully things will simmer down. Got to a point where we argued more, and she, the thing that really breaks my heart, and I still, I have a ring, with me. It's really the only thing that I have of hers, of her belongings. And she took it off, and she kind of threw it at me, and we said, very mean things to each other. And so I left the room, came back to the room because I had taken her phone. And obviously, we continued to argue. And then things took a turn for the worst when, we had gotten to a point in the argument where Anele had kind of threatened to kill herself, or to, jump off the balcony. She didn't say in those words though. And I had called reception for security, and I had kind of tried to remove myself from the situation again, and I think maybe out of panic, I didn't want to be there or kind of feel that this was going to happen. I kind of wanted to remove myself from it, so I went to the bathroom, and when I came out of the bathroom, she wasn't in the room.
So
she wasn't in the room, and so then I look around the room and she's not there, and I go to the balcony and I look over the balcony and I look down to the street, and that's where she was.
So you were in the hotel room, but not where she was at the time that she said to have jumped?
The events are blurry because I didn't really lay eyes on her from the time I made the call to security. I kind of, the phone was over here and the balcony is over that side, so when I made the call, I kind of just tried to get out of the situation. I don't know whether it was during the time I was on the phone that she had jumped, or whether it was when I was in the bathroom, or whatever the sequence of events are, but that's how I remember it.
So it must have been a disagreement that lasted several hours then, because you said you came back from work, which you were gigging in Cape Town. So you get back to the hotel, you start to talk about these issues that I'd like us to get into at some point. From then to when she eventually, as we're hearing now, jumps from the balcony, which was like daylight hours, were you with her all the time, except for that brief time where, of course, you went back to the other room that you'd secured?
No, I was in the room. The last time I remember seeing her was when she had walked past me from the door towards the balcony, saying she is going to jump off the balcony, she's going to kill herself, at which point I called reception for security to come up, because in my mind I'm thinking, well, I must be the reason that she's in this state, or she's very, very upset. So I need some assistance. I need to call downstairs and see if somebody can come intervene. And I put the phone down. I went to the bathroom just to kind of take a breather, and when I came back, she was gone.
Where was the help then between when you go to the bathroom and when you make this grim discovery? Did anyone actually come from the hotel?
No, nobody came.
And a lot has been said about the nature of the relationship, right? A lot of people were seeing in the last week or so videos of other disagreements that you've had, a lot of it seeming to be quite in the extreme as far as disagreements go. What were the issues that you were trying to iron out in Cape Town?
I think as a couple, we did have a very tumultuous relationship. I put that down to being about passion. We're both very passionate people. We passionately loved each other very, 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 very much. That is why we wanted to build our whole lives together. But I think passion goes both ways in this case. Disagreements that we had could be quite intense. And on that day when we were speaking, it was about a variety of issues in our relationship. Issues that I don't feel I really want to lay bare, because Anele is not here to speak for herself. Anele is not here to give her side of the story. But what I can tell you is, it was like any other relationship in which there were problems and issues and insecurities and just things that people, especially with our life, me being in the public eye, that, were going on in our relationship. and there was a lot of passion. And speaking to the images of the last week, I understand what it looks like. I understand that I need to own that. I understand that I could imagine, I regret it, and I can only imagine how I must have frightened her, how scared she must have been. And it's not something that I'm proud of. And it's something that I need to own. And if I could redo it or get to that point again or go back in time, which is what I keep saying to myself about a lot of things when somebody passes like this. I keep thinking, could I have done something different? Could I have done better? Could I have done this or could I have done that? And that kind of torments me every single day. But I know that what I am not is an abuser. I am not somebody who would abuse Anele because I treated her like gold. She was my everything and still remains my everything. I would wake up every single day thinking, how happy could I make this person today? That was my mission. And that for me is why I'm so heartbroken, why I'm so completely shattered, is because that big part, that piece, that center of my life is gone. So I understand how it looks, but I want people to know that I loved her with all my heart, and that is why she said yes to marrying me. That is why her family said yes to me paying lobola for her, and that is why ultimately we wanted to build the rest of our lives together.
And we'll go back to the hotel in a moment, but just on, because we've touched on it now, the issue of the videos. You say, yes, she meant the world to you, you cherished her, but when you watch the videos, I mean, I'll just bring up one where a man who is unidentified is in the room trying to subdue Anele, and yes, you're presumably on the other side of the camera, and she keeps saying, you don't know what he's done or he's doing to me. Now, to those of us looking in from the outside, those don't sound like the words of a woman who was well taken care of and always felt loved.
I can understand how that looks.